Presented by The Hockey Shop, source for sports Surrey, thehockeyshop.com. This is InGoal Radio, the podcast, celebrating episode number 52. Let's bring in the co-founders of InGoal Magazine, earlier than normal for this special episode, Kevin Woodley and David Hutchison. And gentlemen, I'm going to ask you two key questions. Woody, how many weeks in a year?
52.
Hutch, how many weeks have we been doing this podcast?
That would be 52, Darren.
Congratulations, gentlemen. We have made it one lap around the sun. That's amazing. And we haven't missed a week. You guys have been unbelievable. And this whole production has taken off from our first episode where we were finding our feet to goaltenders at the pro level, right on down to those driving to the rink with their parents or listening to the podcast. And I just want to say that I'm really, really proud of you. And I think, I know for a fact, this is my greatest compliment to you. If I wasn't on with you, I would be an InGoal Premium subscriber, and I would be an InGoal Radio listener. Guaranteed. Congratulations, boys.
Thank you, Darren. I think it's also notable to say that only one member of this trio has been on every single of those 52 episodes. So well done to you, Darren. No holidays Iron for Man. You. Always a working man. Yeah, he's got the streak going. Yeah.
You know what? Biceps get you through in life. A lot of people poo-poo my time at the gym working on my biceps, but I get through. I was talking to a National Hockey League goaltender this week about InGoal Radio, the podcast, and InGoal Magazine, and I didn't clear it with him that I would go public, but I just wanted to let you guys know that it came up in a conversation. So we are everywhere, including National Hockey League dressing rooms, and this week we are going to chat with one of the most influential goaltenders on and off the ice, Robin Lehner of the Chicago Blackhawks. We are going to go across his platform of save selection and how he approaches the game. And something that just jumped out at me was how he approaches the butterfly and changing things up. And you guys, listeners, right now, I speak to you directly. You're going to be fascinated by this conversation that Woody has with Robin Lehner, and just kind of out in the middle of the dressing room. That's the coolest part about that discussion, Woody.
Yeah, no, it's and to be honest, I don't think we mentioned it in the interview itself, but maybe cooler. It's game day, boys. Like, this is on a game day. Chicago did not practice. They came in early, but took the day off. So my only opportunity to talk to Robin was on a game day, on a night when he would start against the Vancouver Canucks. And Robin being Robin, he not only did he probably expected it, because we typically have these chats when he comes through town, but he was gracious with his time. He was thoughtful with his answers. He was passionate as always about the position, the way he plays it. Just, got to be one of my favorite all-time interviews. A guy who really does sort of no holds barred, just tells it like it is. And his approach to the position, his thoughts on the position, his evolution, going from the Islanders to the Blackhawks, a defensively stingy team, to a more wide open chance trading team, and talking to us about how he's actually changed his approach behind it, how he's a little less technical because the type and style of shots he sees aren't as structured as they used to be before. The whole thing was fascinating. I know our listeners are going to enjoy it, just like I enjoy every time Robin comes through town.
We have done interviews in cars. We've done interviews in stick rooms, anywhere where it's quiet. And this one was just done just in the regular setting of a dressing room, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. When we started, it was kind of your regular media session. The rest of the media was in the room talking to everyone else on a game day. And I sat down next to Robin and we started talking. And frankly, I kind of expected the media to come over and interrupt for a scrum. But the next thing I know, I looked up, the room was empty, and it was just me and Robin talking. And then actually Corey Crawford.
So cool.
Crawford was out late taking shots, and as the backup that night, he was out there with all the scratches and doing the works that backups do, and out there late. And he came in and we wrapped up with Robin, and we just sat down and talked gear for about 5-10 minutes, not with a recorder running, just chit-chatting. Yeah. So I'm kind of a nightmare for PR staffs, but the guys don't mind sitting down and chatting, and the PR staff of the Blackhawks was kind enough to let me sit and chat long past everyone else clearing out of the room.
That is so cool. Hutch, it's a fascinating interview. It's really cool.
Oh, it is. And don't you wish more guys would be like this? I'm always harping on about the fact that the media, I guess that has to include us, tends to get on these guys if they're too honest with their answers. And it's so nice that a guy like Robin feels comfortable being completely honest and open with us. So that's another thing that Kevin does so well, is he makes sure that these guys know that they're talking to a goalie-only audience, to people who are like them. And really it's a friendly interview all the time. So they really open up with our listeners, and I'm thankful that Robin did. And I hope more guys will be comfortable doing that.
Well, and goalies, if for those that have not been in a National Hockey League dressing room, or a professional dressing room for that matter, goalies are the most intimidating people to approach for reporters. You
really?
kind of, oh yeah. I found that anyway. People kind of tiptoe up to the goalie. Are you talking today? You're not talking today, especially on a game day. Game day,
course.
And there's sort of everybody converges all at the same time. And this is a unique one to hear Robin Lehner speak.
Well, just to give you a comparison, I can't talk to either Canucks goaltender on a game day, starter or backup, and that's becoming more the norm around the league, where it's, both goaltenders are off limits on a game day. I do believe it's quite often it's not the goaltenders themselves, it's PR staffs and policies and things like that. So it is refreshing. We've had a few guys make exceptions. I remember Flower coming in a few years ago, and he's like, I don't talk on game days, but come sit down and, we'll just pretend we're having a casual conversation. You can record the answer. So sometimes membership in the goalie union has its privileges with some of these guys, or guys that pull you into the stick room to have a conversation. So the rest of the media doesn't see they're violating their policy on game day talking. But for the most part, it is getting harder and harder to access these guys. And so when they do give us this much time, we're grateful. And hopefully our audience is grateful too, because like I said, Robin's insights are fantastic.
And Robin's journey through the mental health and addiction has been well documented, and we totally are appreciative of his openness in this endeavor to make everybody aware of what happens to you, me, and your neighbor when it comes to depression and mental health. And that takes us into Kane van Gate. Talk about mental health. I'm just kidding.
Careful.
Now this guy, he's like, I followed him for a long time. This is the first time that I've heard Kane talk, and there's not a more confident person out there. I mean, he's got it going on. That chest is puffed out.
Oh, that's a beauty segue, Darren. Wow.
Is it not?
Yeah, I feel bad almost. Gotta phone KVG and warn him what it sounds like. He is, and funny enough, I mean, well, it is a satirical role. Well, he does play the whole thing.
Thank you for pointing that out, because I was going along with that.
Yeah. No, but what I just wanted to say that while it is satirical and while he plays the whole thing tongue in cheek, there's actually some good stuff in there for kids to listen to.
Oh, yeah.
You can actually take
all that.
Well, no, but the absurd perseverance is definitely something after a goal, meaning he's still passionate about his sport and going after it. Maintaining confidence, because you can only play with confidence. I think there's actually something underneath all that, but maybe I just like searching for meaning.
Well, and he does. I mean, let's be honest. He coaches and beyond the persona, he played, boys. Like, he played, and I've seen other sort of online personalities chirp him about being a beer league. The reality is, I've talked to former teammates in college that were in the NHL that played with him in college a little bit, and he played at that level, right? Like, not a lot, not a long time, but he was part of a team. And
top amateur level in the sport.
No, legit NCAA Div 1 school. For the sake of the persona, we're not going to name it. But like I said, I've talked to teammates in the NHL, some teammates now coaching goalies in the NHL. So there's some behind the persona, there's a legitimate goaltender and a legitimate sort of passion that comes through on both sides of it.
We're not going to have him on if there's not some background there, but this is a really entertaining interview. I like Patrick Waugh, and Patrick's confidence would wilt in front of Kane van Gate 38. There's no doubt about it that that Patrick would just slump down and just slimy slime out of the corner. It's not even close.
Yeah, but at the same time, KVG is just so open to answering questions. I mean, he didn't even once say, I can't hear you because of those 8 beer league championship rings I've got in my ears right now.
Right. He wears them as a chain around his neck.
Probably does.
Like, he would look like Mr. T with all those championships.
Yeah, except let's be honest, in beer league you don't get rings, boys. You get T-shirts. So he just basically have them all wrapped around his head. So.
Oh yeah, he'd be like that guy that jumps around the crowds that takes the T-shirt off and gives it away by chucking. That's right too. No, I'm looking forward to everybody hearing Kane van Gate 38 and his conversation and his passion for the game. And you're gonna love hearing him talk about his setups and what's most important to him, basically when he goes on the ice and what he prides himself in and what gets him going. That's all coming up. And he also gives a big shout out to the Hockey Shop, source for sports Surrey, thehockeyshop.com.
Yeah. Hey, and listen, KVG was a guest of the Hockey Shop at the original or the second TendyFest. There's been so many now. I can't remember which version. He actually came out.
Original. I think the original and the second.
It was pretty fun to watch, Darren, because people legit following around, kids looking for autographs from KVG. Like he was a big rock star at this thing. And so kind of speaks to me to the legitimacy of both Kane and obviously the Hockey Shop. Events like TendyFest, with all the top sponsors coming out. We'll be back there again this summer, but just that ability to be more than a store, to be a place where you can go to talk to Cam, ask questions, learn about goaltending. You don't necessarily have to go in there to buy. You just want to get better as a goaltender. They'll help you out with gear tips. They'll help you out with playing tips. They just have that pure passion like KVG for the position. They also happen to have a whole bunch of, speaking of sponsorship tie-ins, a whole bunch of Bauer Pro Return composite sticks right now that are on sale. You're going to have to go check out thehockeyshop.com to see whether they actually have a KVG Pro Return model in there. I'm not sure, heard some rumors, but they've definitely got some top names. I saw Lundqvist in there. I saw a whole bunch of different NHL goaltending names. Bauer Pro Return sticks on sale at the Hockey Shop and thehockeyshop.com this week. We go there because of that passion, Hutch. We go there because of the knowledge. We go there because of the selection. And that's why you too should check out the Hockey Shop, source for sports, in Surrey, British Columbia, on the outskirts of Vancouver. Or if you can't get there in person and say hi to Cam and ask him all those great questions, you can check them out online at thehockeyshop.com.
KVG 38 is a sponsored athlete. That's the level that we're dealing with here.
Hey, and that's
right?
not and that is not satire. I mean, the role is
no, he's a sponsored athlete by Bauer.
Yeah, legit.
And when he talks about all his setups, I have this deep-rooted envy when he discusses it. It's I want to be KVG 38. Maybe for a day.
He catches.
Then I'll go back to my regular life.
Not me. He catches with the wrong hand.
Does he?
He does.
Oh.
It explains a lot, doesn't it?
Do you think he's ever scored a goal? He would have mentioned it for sure if he ever scored a goal. He's not leaving anything out in that interview. But Pekka Rinne scored a goalie goal in the last week. Your reaction, Hutch, when you first saw the Vezina Trophy winner become the tallest goaltender to ever score a goal.
And credit to Mike McKenna as well, the only goalie to ever score with a composite stick. So,
oh yeah,
I always get excited.
Shouldn't we have more of them with composite sticks? It's weird that we haven't had one since 2013 in the NHL.
Well, and maybe there will be more because some guys like Kevin Woodley now employ second sticks for games. Correct, Kevin?
Yeah. Chirp away, boys. Listen, I think,
but not for warm up.
For warm up. Listen, Alex Stalock told us that he wanted to get an empty net goal stick. So
exactly.
If there's a face off in the other team,
why wouldn't you?
Yeah, so you can just get it up and over everyone and shoot to score. Listen, I'm surprised, as are a lot of this is a topic I've discussed with NHL goalies for the past couple of years. Everybody was surprised that we hadn't had more in the past year, especially with the propensity now, if you're down by 2, to pull a goaltender with like 3.5 minutes left.
Yeah.
Goalies, like their eyes light up when they see that the other guy come out early. Like there's buzz around the league. Like everybody figures we should be seeing more goals, and we haven't. Am I surprised it was Pekka? No, because as we wrote in a follow-up at InGoalMag.com and the InGoal Premium Edition, Pekka's a guy who early in his career, when he struggled with low event games, low shot games, when the Predators tightened things up, even especially after Laviolette, we think of Trotz as the defensive coach, but the reality was the dearth of talent there for so long meant even with the defensive system, they still gave up a lot of shots. So Pekka stayed busy. Under Laviolette, less shots. And one of the ways that Pekka dealt with it, because he's a goalie that likes to be active, and he feels like when he's not active, he loses that engagement and he's not at his best. So he decided he was going to handle every puck he could. And if you watch him go behind the net, he will go after rims off the glass. He'll go after rims that are halfway up the dasher. He will slide into the boards in a freaking butterfly and like slam into the boards to stop it so that he can stop it and handle the puck. Michael Hutchison, one year I had to do a story from NHL.com asking goalies it was a Christmas story. So if you could take one thing from another goalie and have it left under the tree for you, one skill, what would it be? And most guys, Carey Price's movement was the number one answer. But Michael Hutchinson said Pekka Rinne's ability to stop rims behind the net. It's a game changer the way it helps out his D. It was a great point, and it was one of the reasons that Pekka was out there corralling a bouncing puck behind the net, knocking it down, out there early, giving himself time to roof it over everyone and score. So, usually, hey, goalie goals, we all cheer for them, but in Pekka's case, there was a very specific set of circumstances that led to the skill that allowed him to score that goal.
And it was 190 feet because he was right against the boards behind the net, and he let that thing go. When it bounced, I wasn't sure it was going to hop the right way, but he got the shooter's roll and good on him.
Hey. We should get the Major League Baseball home run trackers to find out what the longest goalie goal in history is. We should get a distance on all of these.
Yeah, he was definitely behind the line and dropped the knee old school style and let her rip. It was, hey, listen, if you want a guy who deserves a good bounce, Darren, one of the best guys in the league from a personality and just kindness standpoint, Pekka's got a ton of good karma coming, so I'm not surprised it bounced his way.
What does dropping to one knee do for you when you're shooting the puck like that?
A little more leverage, a little more power, especially when you're trying to get it up and over and out of the zone. So everyone's in that zone. You want to roof it up really high. Yeah. It's just like a shooter in some of our pro reads, right? You've seen some of the goalies talk about seeing the guy with that top hand kind of tweaked and dropping down to lift the shot, and that's part of the read as a goalie. Well, on a shooter, just same thing as a goaltender, right? You sort of drop that knee and get a little more leverage and a little more pop to get it up high and quick.
I tried it a couple of times before this. I don't know why I was out there screwing around, and I couldn't get it to work. And so I was trying to figure out the reason why guys do it. Stop shaking your head, Hutch. There's a lot more stuff that I've tried that doesn't work.
Hey. No, I was just going to say it doesn't do anything for me. I'm exactly the same as you. I've tried a number of times. It just embarrasses me.
I'm going on what other people tell me, guys. I'm not pretending I do it myself. Let's be honest. At my age,
try it.
I try to go down as infrequently as possible because it's getting harder and harder to get back up.
Yeah, I know, but next time try it because I can't. Somebody's going to have to show me what the technique is for it. But I have witnessed different people do the one knee down and shoot, and I didn't know whether it was power, whether it was height, what the exact benefit was from it.
Oh, Darren, I believe you've just handed us. Pekka Rinne is visiting me here in February on the 10th with the Nashville Predators. Oh. I think you just handed us a nice little video segment, Pekka showing us the one knee drop and what it does for him.
There you go.
There you go.
That's got InGoal Premium written all over it, boys.
I love it. Flower, Marc-Andre Fleury still wants to score a goal. That's on his bucket list. So there's a lot of guys still thinking about it. We should also mention the Russian Revolution in goaltending that is occurring. Washington and the New York Rangers with Shesterkin coming in and giving Georgiev and who's the other guy in New York? He wears what number is he? He's battling for crease time with Shesterkin and Georgiev. Look at
the guy who can't close the guy who can't close his glove.
Yeah, that guy. What's his name?
I can't remember.
The Lundqvist close.
Woody, turn around.
Yes,
I was going to say, Woody, just turn around
him.
and read the name off the jersey at the back of your wall there.
Hey, only Olympic gold medal winners go on the wall, so it must be a special name. Listen, Lundqvist can close his glove now too, for the record.
I did not know that changed.
Yes, he is. Oh yeah, he's adjusted that. It doesn't close it all the time, but he can close it.
Ah.
No, he's being. Are we seeing the future with Shesterkin coming in?
Oh, for sure. But let's not be dismissive of the present either, in the form of Georgiev, who was having a heck of a season up until right before Christmas. He hit a bit of a skid. I think he went through up until that 4 games from December 23rd till January before his last start, so January 8th or whatever. I think he gave up 18 goals in 4 games. Prior to that, he was actually better than Lundqvist, at least statistically. And he's a guy who's played above the expected save percentage throughout his career with the New York Rangers. I like Alexander Georgiev's game. And you talk about Russian Revolution. I've gone through his Russian roots with him and his transformation once he went to Finland and started working with Fredrik Norrena. Shesterkin's the future. Don't dismiss Lundqvist. He's got a 910 save percentage right now, and a lot of people are like, oh, is his best past him? When you adjust his numbers for the shot quality through ClearSight Analytics, dude is top 5 in the league. Top 5. People are writing him off like he's over the hill and done. He's top 5 in the NHL. So obviously I'm a fan, but I do think he's still able to perform at that level. Maybe not as often. Maybe you can't play him like you used to. And they rode the wheels off him in New York for years.
But you can't. Georgiev was getting 4 starts in a row. Yeah, they at least they bought in and they're using a plan.
Yeah, and the plan is probably Shesterkin long term. I like Georgiev, but he probably becomes a trade chip. Just doesn't have the same in their mind, or he doesn't have the same pedigree for sure. And in some people's minds, maybe not quite the same upside. But I still think he's a legit NHL goaltender that can be a good 1B type guy. Maybe even maybe not an everyday starter, but a guy who can give you starts for a prolonged period of time. There's value there.
Look at him as we approach the trade deadline. He's an RFA next year, and he could certainly help some teams with their goaltending depth down the stretch drive. Samsonov also in Washington, shouldn't overlook him as far as maybe being the future there too. I hope he's unrestricted after this year. I'm curious what's going to play out with the Capitals. Yeah, no, and it'll be interesting there. I mean, Samsonov, legit prospect, like Shesterkin, like Sorokin, who's going to be coming over soon with the Islanders. That's one of the reasons they got Varlamov. That's the word. Thank you. Varlamov. There's a relationship there with the Islanders after Greiss leaves, probably as a free agent this summer. The Russian Revolution is sort of long. It's been coming for a while. We'll have an article up on it actually at InGoal Premium soon, digging into some of the roots of this and why some of these kids maybe are a little less structured at younger ages and why it's allowing them to have that elite level success at the NHL, including Georgiev. Had long chats with him about the type of training he used to do. Vasilevsky, same thing. Vasilevsky, the best on it was Hudobin. Hudobin. Oh, yeah. Hudobin didn't have a goalie coach at all till he was like 18, 19, and he met, I think it was Evgeny Nabokov in a summer one year. So there's some really interesting stories behind the roots of what we're seeing in terms of the Russian infiltration. Obviously, Askarov did not have a great World Junior, but he's going to be the top goalie off the draft board this summer. So we'll get into that at InGoal Premium. But in the short term, speaking of the Rangers, I think it's Georgiev is probably the odd man out. And I think whatever team gets in on him is going to have a good one.
Hey, all these names coming up with up and comers pairing up with some great vets who are going to be around for a while to come. This expansion draft soon will be very interesting for some of these teams, won't it? Yeah. Who becomes the Marc-Andre Fleury for Seattle? Exactly. And I mean, Lundqvist has to be, assuming he's still playing in a few years. I don't see why he wouldn't be. He's going to have to be protected in New York. This is going to be really interesting. Well, no, do you think he's still playing in 2 years? Lundqvist has this year and next year left on his contract, guys. So that's one thing to consider. He's a UFA. Yeah. He's a UFA. And so as much as he doesn't want to leave New York. I don't think we're looking at a protection situation. The music, whose music that is, Hutch. You know my theory on this one. I do 100%. Can I just? It's a good theory. Carey Price. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I love it when minds work together like that. Must be great minds, Darren.
It is. I'm with you. When I don't believe Henrik Lundqvist leaves New York, but Price was the first name that, if you're going to follow a Marc-Andre Fleury type scenario, that I thought of.
Yeah, we've been sort of kicking that around for actually a couple of years now. Hey,
couple of years,
yeah, like
sure,
as soon as Seattle got a team, that was one we looked at as.
His,
and hey,
his
we're
wife's
just
family's from the area.
Yeah, we're just spitballing, but you could obviously definitely see how that might be a fit.
Yeah, with his junior ties, it's perfect. Playing in Tri-Cities. Let's go back to the Swedish goaltending, not Henrik Lundqvist, but rather Robin Lehner, and discuss our feature interview of the week. And Robin Lehner of the Chicago Blackhawks, formerly of the Ottawa Senators, Buffalo Sabres, and then really made his mark with the New York Islanders, and now is on a one-year deal with the Blackhawks. And I love what he said when they asked him about contract and whether he would take a discount to play and sign long-term with Chicago, which he really likes. And he said, nope, I've been taking discounts my whole life, and it's time to get paid what I want to get paid, what I deserve to get paid. He's not asking for more. He's not being greedy. But I just love that confidence, and it goes with what you'll hear in the interview, right, Woody?
Yeah, I mean, he certainly doesn't lack that, and it's just a forthrightness. And I think that question, obviously I wasn't there when that question you talked about was asked, right. But I think the implication, as I understand it, of the question that he responded to was that he would need to take a discount or another short-term deal because of everything he's been through from the mental health side. And clearly and understandably, and I would agree, he shouldn't have to. And from a performance standpoint, I have questions about goaltenders on new teams, right? Like we've talked about, how do you measure who's going to fit in a different system, a different style, and all those things. As Lehner talks about in this interview, like he checks all those boxes. You don't have to worry about, can he play behind a low event team where he doesn't see a ton of shots and it's tight structure. Like not all goalies can. Curtis Joseph is the prime example. When he went to Detroit, he needed to be busy. Lehner did that. Can he play behind a team that plays wide open fire wagon hockey? He's doing it right now. I talked about the stats from ClearSight Analytics that had Henrik Lundqvist top 5 in the league while everybody else was writing him off as being on the downside. Robin Lehner's number 1 when it comes to goals saved above expected based on shot quality. Robin Lehner is the number 1 goaltender in the NHL 1 year after being a Vezina Trophy finalist behind a stingy team. He's having that type of season behind a much looser, more wide open team. There's just not a lot of question marks about him. To me, absolutely, he deserves to get paid. And to me, he's right there with Braden Holtby atop this list in terms of guys who should be most attractive on a pretty impressive list of unrestricted free agents this summer that also includes, I'll have to throw it in here, Jacob Markstrom of the Vancouver Canucks. He is, without any recognition outside Vancouver, seemingly also having a potential Vezina finalist season. You talk about Swedish goaltenders for the Vancouver Canucks.
I think I love about Robin Lehner is he's motivated and he's willing to do whatever it takes to make sure everybody knows that he is the goaltender and he's can stop the pucks, and everything else is behind him. He's willing to acknowledge it. He's willing to talk about the mental health part of his life, but he's a goaltender and he's not going to let the other stuff detract from his performance. And boy, motivation can be a powerful tool when you're a professional athlete. It is our feature interview presented by The Hockey Shop, source for sports story, thehockeyshop.com. The Chicago Blackhawks goaltender Robin Lehner with Kevin Woodley on InGoal Radio, the podcast.
I want to ask you a little bit about unpredictability and not maybe always making saves that look the same. We've seen kind of the game evolve. We've seen a few what we've coined butter stacks, sort of butterfly slides into 2-pad stacks and stack mills and things like that. Where do you think unpredictable does it matter sometimes as a goalie to be not always give them the same look?
Yeah, no, I think so. I don't think it. I don't think has anything to do with this. The double stack and stuff like that. I think it has to do with a butterfly in general. I think the clear cut butterfly sometimes just I just feel like the players in this league shoots too good these days. They're obviously the biggest biggest coverage is in the butterfly for sure, but it's also players are getting better and better, and they're starting to expose a lot of the butterfly goalies on clear line shots. You see so many coming down the wing, and they go short side every day in the NHL. You see a lot of goals going that way, just beating them over the shoulders. And I just feel like you have to keep evolving a little bit, maybe not go down on every shot, maybe go one knee down, get you used to shoulders a little bit more and stuff like that. I think that's helped me quite a bit, and I just think players shoots too well.
Patience, is that a fair description of no matter how you do it, or is it?
Sure, patience is more important now than ever, but I just go more one knee down saves than ever the last couple of years, because the regular butterfly just doesn't cover enough up top, and try to use your shoulders more. Try to the one knee down has worked for me quite a bit. But it's tough, it also exposes your 5 a little bit, so you have to be really patient to be able to make those types of saves. But I think unpredictability is getting bigger and bigger anyways, because there's more and more video, more and more pre-scout, and players are getting better and better, so you definitely have to be more unpredictable.
We talked at length last year about your adjustments with Piero Greco and Mitch a little bit in New York. Now Jimmy Wade, a new voice. What's been the focus? Has it been a continuation of what you did with the Islanders, Robin, or has it been anything new you've added, or anything? It's kind of a game of constant evolution.
No, it's definitely been different. Piero and Mitch made some adjustment last year. I worked a lot with Piero last year, kind of get my game to slow down a little bit, less movement. Been keeping working on that. I think that's kept evolving. But Jimmy has brought his own little dimension to the game too. He's fairly technical. He's been working on some post stuff with me and a few things. It's been good, but it's different, man. I had to be way less technical this year than I was last year. Last year was a little bit easier to be more technical for me. It was a different system. There's a lot more chances here. There's a lot more clear-cut chances, and being that technical that was last year would just not have worked here. I have to stop thinking about the details quite a bit here, just try to make the save somehow. So it's been less technical this year for sure.
Is it a mental adjustment as much as anything, a mindset almost, Robin?
Yeah, no, a little bit. It's just it's been more folks just saving the puck, not how you do it here, because sometimes you, as a goalie, you start thinking about how to make the save, and it becomes harder. But it works in certain systems where that you can use that to your advantage, especially in Long Island, where it was a little bit more predictable. Here, we're a very good offensive team, but there's a little bit more, or there's quite a bit more chances here. Rush chances, just chances in general, but a lot more rush chances. So there's gonna have to be more read and react here this year for sure.
And I know you've said it before, but it's not like that's new to you. It's just an adjustment from one year to the next.
Yeah, no, you work with what you got. It's you try to. Yeah.
That was the thing you didn't have to worry about, right? Not as much odd man.
Yeah, no, last year that's what the Trotz system was good at. Not generally, specifically speaking, but good chances or grade A chances, stuff like that. It was just not that much rush chances last year in the system that Trotz brings to the table. And but again, I was more used to having rush chances and stuff like that from Buffalo, Ottawa days. And but that's kind of what people don't understand. Like I went down to a 2.0 GAA last year. That's only because of rushes. If you see 5-6 rushes a game, you're gonna let one in. That's that extra goal against. You can save 3-4 of them, but there's one that's gonna go in. So that extra GAA on your stat record is gonna be reflected if you have a lot of rush chances. Just doesn't matter which goalie it is. It's not a big deal, but this year has been quite a bit of chances, a lot of shots, quite a bit of high danger and rush chances, and I don't mind it. There was a lot of. It's just funny because we know when I signed her in the offseason, it was a lot of these analytical guys and stuff that was like, oh, Robin's going to Chicago. He's not, and he doesn't know what he's getting into. Blah. I'm like, that's what I'm used to. And people forget that I was a 92 percentage before in Buffalo. My whole tenure in Buffalo was a 92 percenter, and but you don't get credit when you don't win. It's just simple as that. And so you can see that this year too. I'm for sure playing at quite a bit higher standard this year than I was last year. I am playing way better hockey this year than I was. Last year was a good year, but this year I'm playing my best hockey, and you don't get that much recognition about how good you're playing if you're not winning consistently. Like I said it last year, I won a couple of stars of the week and stuff like that, star of the month, and I wasn't playing that great. Like certain of those star of the weeks, I was decent, but we were 3-0. When you're 3-0, you get a star. But I had stretches this year where I had way better games and way more high danger and better saves than I've had in a long time. So, it's just how it works. When a team is winning, you get recognition. That goes for every player in a team. When you're not, it's not so much.
I wanted to ask you one. The other one was, it's funny because I said the same thing. The numbers might change in Chicago, even if he plays good. Like I expected you to play just as well, but the numbers are going to change just because the environment changes. When you say you play even better this year, what do you think allows you to, what's allowed you to play even better this year?
No, I think just keep evolving. Still, I'm 28 years old. It's one more year of experience. Keep growing on my game, seeing the puck really well. It's I still feel like I'm fairly young in my career, even though I've been in the league for a while. But I keep getting better and better, and I definitely think I've been playing some of my best hockey this year for sure. And I'm thinking, like, my mindset's gone away from a lot of the traditional statistics. I'm trying to be more I focus more on quality starts than anything. Even from last year, I think consistency has been a big thing for me. As many games as possible, over 91%, just trying to be consistently that, not to have those swings. And I think I started 23 games this year, and I think I have one or two under 91%. Just I want to have that level of consistency. And it was the same thing last year, even if it was more consistent results last year. I got pulled last year one time, I think it's 50 some games, and there was not many of those games that were under 91%. And it's just kind of try to be there and show up so you give your team a chance every day to win. I think that's one of the statistics I try to zone in on the most. Just keep working on not letting in clear line shots. That's a big thing for me. Like if they're going to beat me, they're going to have to beat me, and the other team is going to have to do something good to be able to beat me. And the clear line shots, I don't want that to be able to beat me. So I keep working on that, and that's been working well the last few years as well. I don't let in many clear cut shots from, and I think that's a big thing too. But in the end of the day, when a team is winning, that's when we as goalies get a lot of credit. There's a lot of good goalies in this league that don't get much credit because they're not on a consistently winning team, and there's goalies that are on consistently winning teams that are not playing that great to get a lot of credit. It's just how things work. And I say that about if you really want to look at it, if you look at Gibson right now, like I always said, Gibson is one of the best, if not the best goalie in the league. But when his team was really good, that's what everyone was talking about. Gibson's the best. And I couldn't agree with him more. But the last 1.5 years, when his team is not that good anymore, now all of a sudden is he struggling while Gibson's not playing to his standard? No, he's the exact same goalie. It's just not. When you're on a good winning team, you get credit. I had that discussion with both Bishop and Vasilevsky this year's awards too. Goalies don't get their awards or get their recognition without a good team behind them. It's just how the goalie thing works, and you see it over and over again. And all the great goalies that everyone talks about around this league for the last forever, they're on great teams. And same with Fleury and Lundqvist and whoever it is, they always had their really good defensive teams that play around them, they build around them, and then you get recognition and people see what you're doing.
I was going to say Lundqvist is when everyone, all of a sudden the numbers have fallen off, and I'm like, well, it's not like he's forgotten how to play goal, but that environment again has just changed in front of me. Still one of the all-time greats.
Of course he is. But again, the Rangers has never been this before. Rangers always been let him see the first shot, take away the rebounds. Look at Jonathan Quick. Jonathan Quick is still insane, but it's not the same structure, same team anymore. You know, no, it's you don't just lose your talent, but people like to think so. It's just it's not easy in today's game with the amount of offensive skill and how good players are shooting these days. If you don't have much structure in front of you, it's not easy. It's really not easy. But
Craig Anderson told me earlier in the year, he's like, if guys in this league get time in the slot and hit their spot, it's going in.
Yeah, and that's where I think the predictability. I learned a lot from Craig about this when I played with him, and that's why I think I've been able to be pretty good at the clear line shots. You know, it's about the unpredictability, not making the perfect save and making the perfect tech. I think if you don't play, if there's a guy shooting from the slot area and he hits a spot, there's only one way of saving it. It's unorthodox save. If he hits the spot and you do a regular butterfly, he's scoring. End of story. If you read and you throw a shoulder up and you lean in and you predict, that's when you save that shot. That's kind of where I've been good this year and last year, because I'm not letting in many clear line shots, even if they're from the slot, because, you know, as soon as I see they're in the danger zone, I stop being technical. I start looking at the stick, start looking at his face, and start predicting, leaning, and then cheating, predictable cheating. You have to. If there's a shot from the slot and you're not one step ahead, he's scoring. You have to realize that there are other methods, but I think the new generation of goaltending and goaltending coaches are so stuck in their ways and being so overly technical, that's leading to a lot of problems. It's leading to being very predictable for the shooter. The shooters have the upper hand, you know, they look at us a lot, you know, in pre-scouts and stuff like that, and we do the same thing over and over on the post. It's the perfect reverse VH that screws everyone's hips, and everyone's having hip surgery before they even get into the league now. The new generation of goaltending coaches is destroying this position.
Okay, let's have some fun here. Gear. Style still matter?
Oh, yeah, no, I think so. I think so. I mean, I haven't had the... You know, yeah, definitely. I think, you know.
I caught your equipment guy having to spray up some sticks for you, so the black matches the black on the set.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Warrior haven't want to give me sticks for a while. I don't know what's going on, but no, Corey told me, you know, Corey's always had black. I tried black. I never had full black gear, and I like it. I like it. I was a little bit. Am I gonna look smaller or not? But that's just it doesn't work like that. It has no meaning to it. So no, just change it up and have fun with it.
Do you find, can you get a quicker whistle on all black pads sometimes?
No, I don't think. No, I don't think so. I think sometimes even slower whistles with black pads, because the ref doesn't really get a grasp of where the puck is, so they hesitate a little bit. The only thing with the black pads that screwed with me in the beginning was my blocker, because my glove is not very much forward, but my blocker is forward, so I keep seeing black in my peripherals, so it kind of screwed me the first few games. I keep getting caught seeing my blocker in my peripherals, and the black just caught me a little bit, but that's over now. But no, I kind of like the black pads, to be honest. It's been working out nice.
Okay, so last one. I saw that they had stitched on, it's the same here, stitched on the pads. Not to get into it too much, but just where you are personally and professionally, is there no coincidence, Robin, that there are two? Like, how much pride do you take in the work you've done on that side, and how much does it allow you to go out there and play freely as a goaltender?
No, I mean, it's obviously it's been better. I mean, it has its drawbacks too. You know, it's been tough, but it's also been way better. But it's
because we ask, and that's
no, definitely not. That's not. You know, when you become sober, it's just not everything just doesn't become perfect because you stop drinking or whatnot. You know, other problems arises. You know, you start dealing with anxiety and stuff instead, which I didn't have before. So I mean, it's a saying. In AA that you have to deal with the wreckage of your past no matter what. You know, it's doesn't only because you become sober, not everything just disappears. You know, it's you still have to battle through the same battles, but without your help, so to say. But I have finding other helps for myself in a better way now. But no, the Same Here is just more of a why I like the Same Here is Here organization, and their message is more of realizing that we're all struggling with something. It's not just one person or 1 in 5 or whatnot. Everyone in every team that I've been on, or every person that I've ever met, everyone deals with something, and everyone has some type of battle in their life. And we like to put these mental aspects or addiction or whatever in certain pockets of society, which truly is just not correct, because we're all struggling with mental illness some point in time in our life. If it's it can be depression or anxiety or whatever it might be. You know, if someone in your family dies, relationship issues, financial issues, whatever, you go through highs and lows mentally, and it's just more of a common thing that than what. Then obviously you have the bigger, some of the bigger diagnoses that kind of don't go away, like schizophrenia and bipolar and whatever it might be. But it's fairly common, and if we can all just come to a point where we understand that everyone deals with something, and stop putting things in pockets, it can change things.
Being able to be the guy that, like, do you think it helps? Does it mean a lot that other people see you being public about it and it can help them?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, it's a starting point. Like we there's a lot of people doing a lot of good things, but just being more open. If people can just be more open about it, I think it can help change the situation long term.
Thanks, Brian.
Robin Lehner, he did an interview with the Athletics' Mark Lazarus earlier this year, just in the wake of the Bill Peters, Mark Crawford issues, and he didn't give them a pass at all, didn't come close to that, but said people do deserve a second chance, and that we've got to work on things as a society because we're living in this cancel culture. And I thought it was an unbelievably frank interview, honest interview, and to the point where it walked a line where maybe you wouldn't see a professional athlete go to. So really appreciate all of Robin Lehner's, both this interview and his conversations along the way, Woody.
Yeah, I mean, and to me, that just follows what we talked about earlier. He's passionate about the position, but he's passionate about a lot of things, and he's going to share his opinions and share that passion when he has a belief about something, and he deserves credit for a ton of it. I do wonder, I hate to say this, it shouldn't be like this, but I do wonder, not the mental health, but that passion, that willingness to be the spotlight, to talk as openly as he will about anything, whether that there are teams in the NHL that just don't want that spotlight, just don't want that in their room. They want you to be seen, not heard. And I don't agree with it, but I do wonder if there will be teams in unrestricted free agency that shy away as a result. I think we know the answer is there probably will be. To me, that's their loss because he's as good a speaker as he is a goaltender. And is he always right? Probably not. None of us are, but he's got a passion and he speaks from the heart and he speaks openly and honestly. And I love that.
You know what? There's always reasons, goofy, unusual, asinine reasons why a certain team doesn't want to talk to a certain player or strokes that athlete off their list in all sports. And hopefully we're a little bit more open on this subject now than we have been. But yeah, I'm with you. I think some teams will stay away. It's not right, but it's certainly a fact. More teams will take a look at it because of his body of work 2 years in a row, though, Hutch, because he's been a rock star.
Yeah, you can never be 100% certain how anybody's going to fit into any organization. But as Kevin has so rightly pointed out, he's done it in two very different systems now. So you know exactly what you're getting when you bring Robin in.
And he's become a fan favorite in Chicago. They love him and what he does and how he reacts and his honesty about the shootout right on down to the in-goal community talking about one knee down saves. I mean, there's guys that wouldn't do that just because it doesn't look as good and it's clunky and it's awkward. He doesn't care. He just wants to stop the puck.
As we saw with that pro read segment at InGoal Premium with Craig Anderson, I mean, there's advantages to doing it as well. It's not just to throw shooters off. Anderson spoke of a very particular reason for doing that. So I love that the position is continuing to evolve. And Robin's in many ways at the forefront, even though it's a little bit throwback, isn't it?
That it is. So do we know what style KVG 38 plays? Is he a pure butterflyer?
I think he's a pretty traditional butterfly goaltender, although he does catch with the wrong hand. But again, that's probably knowing, how elite he is. He probably planned it that way just to throw off the shooters. But if you listen to the segment that we had, there is a little bit of a reference to technique there. We've got a bit of a throwdown for a showdown competition with Cam at the hockey shop, if Cam is willing. And we also had a bit of a challenge to a, shall we call it a pad stack competition with our own Kevin Woodley.
I can't stack the pads. I can't do that.
We're looking forward to the next visit.
Okay, here's my only thing with that challenge, and Kane. This is meant to be just a bit of a question about your style in the sense of you're obviously a modern goaltender, KVG 38, because if it's going to take you 3 to 4 weeks to work on your pad stack to get it ready, you're a newbie compared to us, because we can do it. We can throw a pad stack out there with like 1 or 2 days.
I can't.
Whoa,
I can't.
Seconds, and I would just bust out the old Coopers if we had to have a competition. But,
totally.
But I think KVG was really, really just alluding to his dedication to the craft, and he's going to take anything seriously.
You guys can throw a pad stack, guys. I can't. I can't. Like I didn't grow up like that, and
Kevin just throws his back.
Yeah, I basically lie down.
You wait till you see. I'll check out my Twitter timeline. Some people were in a rural rink in Manitoba, Reston, Manitoba, and on the wall is a picture from 1987 of Darren Millard getting the MVG medal at this tournament. And you should see the pads I'm wearing in that picture on my Twitter feed.
Oh, find it, please.
They are so ugly, so fat, and so heavy that. And I could do a pad stack. So KVG 38, dude, you got to get your stack on here. But this is a fun interview. He is a personality. He loves the position. He's passionate about goaltending, and he gives back to the goaltending community. He's part of this multimedia, modern approach to the position and making a name for himself. He's a brand, but he's also, first and foremost, a goaltender. Here's KVG 38 in our gear segment presented by Source for Sports Surrey, The Hockey Shop, thehockeyshop.com with David Hutchison.
If you have spent any time browsing YouTube for goaltending videos, chances are you've spent some time watching our next guest. He's the star of the, shall we say, satirical autobiographical series BHL 36 and the BHL Life. He's the self-proclaimed president of the BHLPA. And he's an all-around good guy, chronicling his journey from Beer League to, he still hopes, the National Hockey League. I am, of course, talking about the one and only Kane van Gate, or as we know him around here, KVG. KVG, welcome. Thank you for joining us on the InGoal Radio Podcast, a very special edition. I don't know if you know this. It's our 1-year anniversary this week.
We're really awesome. Well, honored to be on either way, and especially honored to be on after your 1-year anniversary. Been listening to all the episodes. You guys are doing an awesome job. So I'm pretty stoked to be on, Hutch. Appreciate it.
Thank you. We'll come back to it, but edition number 1 started with Roberto Luongo. There's going to be a little tie-in in your journey to Lou and the Florida Panthers. We'll get to that soon, but we often begin our career with our pros talking about, their growth in the game and their career. So can you tell us a little bit about your background and how you came to your success in the beer leagues?
Yeah, so it was a long road to my successful BHL career, which is hopefully far from over. I started playing goalie in 10U, and that's Adam, I believe, in Canada. Okay. We call that squirt here in the United States. Right off the bat, I had a pretty sick setup, and so I showed a lot of promise, and was able to play some high-level hockey. And just 6 setups, big saves, big timely saves, and always just kind of being that key guy in the team is just fed off that and always kind of loved that, loved the pressure. So being a goalie was a natural fit for me, attracted to the gear, same deal as any other goalie who kind of fell in love with the sport. But, I kind of thought I'd play in the National Hockey League. And hopefully I will someday as an emergency goalie or whatever works out. Doesn't matter to me. But anyways, if that doesn't happen, I'm pretty content playing the BHL. It's been a fun ride, and it's some good hockey. So it's fun to go out there and compete 1 day a week.
And I remember at one point seeing in one of your shows that I think you'd gone back to back with championships at that point. Where are you standing now?
I haven't lost in like 3 years.
Wow. Your team must be pretty lucky.
A lot of people chirp me because I only average about 6 or 7 shots a game because I got a pretty good team in front of me. But, it's not easy to sit there and watch the other goalie make 25 saves and all of a sudden you've got like a slap shot from the blue line that you got to stop. You know what I mean? So it's been, I take a lot of credit for all these championships. But yeah, we're on like 5 in a row now, I think. So we're on a roll with the boys. Well,
as Grant Fuhr said, it's not how many saves you make, it's which ones and when you make them. So
exactly.
So KVG in an age, and I would even say in a sport where athletes tend to be a little bit more guarded in terms of their public persona, you've really put yourself out there on YouTube and other social channels. Why is that?
Well, I just thought that there was a void. I thought there's a lot of, talented hockey players out there that didn't make it to the NHL. And so I just thought I'd share my story, and I'm just really glad that people have followed along and watched the videos. And so just trying to give, not that I'm an average Joe or anything, but some beer leaguers are, even though I'm, on the upper echelon of beer league. But I just wanted to give all those guys a voice and let the world know that just because you don't make it to the National Hockey League doesn't mean your story isn't important and shouldn't be heard or seen by others.
Right on. Now, whether it's your time growing up from those days in squirt hockey or as a beer leaguer now, we all strive to be the best we can. How do you continue to develop your skills for that shot at the bigs?
6 setups is a big part of it. I think you got to look the part. When I was in school, I heard somebody say, dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And I raised my hand. I said, I already do. I got a custom setup. I look legit. Teacher was a little confused, but anyway, so looking the part's a big deal for me. I've also taken, since BHL 36, I've taken nutrition a different direction. I've learned actually quite a bit since that BHL 36 video. Apparently fried buffalo wings is not a good pregame meal, but hey, it worked for me at the time. So taking nutrition to the next level. And then I'm even doing some off ice workouts because, when that Thursday night comes around, I got to be ready and I got to be in shape because someone has to stop 7 pucks or sometimes it's 12 pucks. You know what I mean? Like you just never know.
Might be a rebound even.
Yeah. Sometimes. Usually the boys clear it out for me. They're pretty good about that.
So you're known, as you say, for some of your pretty sweet setups. And if that call up that you got, well, we saw you on the beach in Florida in your gear, I think. And can you tell us a little bit about that call up you got from the Florida Panthers? And they must have seen something in you if they were willing to do that when they already had a future Hall of Famer, Roberto Luongo, in the net.
Right. So this all started, Bobby Lou had an injury and the other goalie did as well. I'm drawing a blank on who that was. Before Reimer was there, obviously. Anyhow, they had 2 goalies go down, and it was just one of these weird deals where they were getting ready to dress their goalie coach. And I want to say Luongo came back and just gutted it out and finished the game. But it just kind of gave them an idea, like, hey, and this kind of sparked the whole emergency goalie thing. And so the Florida Panthers decided to hold a tryout. I got a really sincere email, saying they've been watching my videos. They show a lot of promise. I look the part, which is really important when you're sitting on the bench looking legit. And so, I thought I had it in the bag. I got there and there were like 87 other goalies who got the exact same email I got. So that stung a little bit, but it didn't discourage me at all. I thought I went out there and, did a really good job. Unfortunately, I didn't get picked as their emergency goalie, which
shocking.
I'll never understand as long as I live. But hey, things happen, and ups and downs. Sometimes you get cut, you win or lose. You just got to keep battling forward. So that was a big lesson learned for me. But I'm not bitter at all. I wish the Florida Panthers the best of luck still. But all in all, it was a great experience. I mean, being on the beach, going and playing hockey, and seeing where guys like Luongo and all those guys get to play. I even went to a Panthers game too against the Montreal Canadiens. Saw Carey Price. I almost got a SO. I think he gave up one, but either way, he looked silky smooth like he always does. So it was a pretty cool experience nonetheless.
That's great. And probably some good advice you'd have for the kids out there then about if things just don't work out, maybe another door is going to open.
Yeah. I mean, rarely. I mean, I think even if you talk to an NHL goaltender, I would think they've all gotten cut at some point. A lot of those guys are freaks of nature, so I'm sure maybe some of them have never gotten cut. But, whether it's going to Team Canada or trying out for a Bantam A team, I mean, sometimes you get picked, sometimes you don't. It's how you rebound afterwards. Just like when a goal goes in, how do you handle what happens next? And so it's a big life lesson for sure. Excellent.
That's we always try and pull something out for the kids, and even though you're a BHL guy, I think it's important for the kids. So thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we said, you're known for your sweet setups, and I think if the call from Florida wasn't evidence enough of your skill, you've in fact been a Bauer sponsored athlete. How long have you been working with Bauer, and what are you wearing now?
Right now, I'm in the new 2X Pros. I absolutely love them. And the Supreme line's awesome too. And that and the Vapor, they're both so impressive. I think the Vapor line fits my style a little bit, how I play and just, the looks of it. So currently in the 2X Pro, it's beautiful. It's all royal blue with some red accents and just a teeny dash of baby blue. So, when every guy on the team notices your new setup, especially when you get them so frequently, it's a good sign that you got a good one. So, the boys like it. They like to give me the tap on the pads. And, I mean, like I've said a few times already, looks is such a huge part of this position. You gotta look the part, right? So when that guy's coming down the ice right now, trying to hammer it home, you need to see a goalie who's out, cutting his angle out ready with the shiny, fancy setup. I think that makes all the difference.
It makes all the difference. Any of the features that you really like about the 2X Pro that works for you? I mean, is it the sliding? Is it the rebounds? What do you like about it?
Well, the Odin, the way the pads slide is unbelievable. It took me probably about 5-10 minutes to get adjusted to, because it's easier than what you're used to as far as, distance on sliding, but it was a fun thing to adjust to. I really like the strapping of the pads. I can get the Vapors on in 2 seconds. I really like that. That's great for me. The catch club, I love the break, the pocket, the feel, the same with the blocker. I don't know. As soon as I put the Vapor stuff on, there's really no custom specs for me, because I thought they did such a great job of putting it together that I just had, I think just a couple of tiny modifications, but nothing major.
Right. So are you in the 2X Pro Chesty as well?
Correct.
Right.
Yes.
So our experience with testing it, whether it's Bantam or right up to Junior A, has been that it's almost the perfect combination of protection and mobility.
Yes.
I'm just wondering, is that what you were wearing when you were in that episode facing off against the novice AAA kids?
Yes, that is. And so it is NHL spec. And so it's a little smaller where, in beer league, you actually don't have to wear NHL spec gear. You can wear any gear, in case you didn't know that.
Right.
So there are a couple pucks that just grazed over my shoulder or my arm and would go post it in. And so at least I know, like, hey, if I had a normal chesty on, those would have been saves. But, like I said earlier, you got to dress for the job you want, not the job you have. And so I feel like it's important for me to wear that NHL spec just in case I get that emergency call up to back up one of these days. So
perfect.
Just be ready to go.
Yeah, that makes sense. And as a Bauer athlete, you've no doubt seen the new Supreme line for 2020, the Ultrasonic.
Yes.
Most recently, we saw that beautiful setup for Carolina that their trainer George Alves, a recent guest on our show, had modified for James Reimer and the Hartford Whalers colors. Little plug, if you don't mind, here from us. Anybody who wants to see the behind the scenes photos of how that setup was created, go to InGoalMag.com. I'm just wondering, do you know anything about the Ultrasonic from your consultations with Bauer? Is it safe to say that if the Ultrasonics had been available when you tried out with Florida, you probably would have made the team, wouldn't you?
Oh, probably. I mean, if I had the Vapor stuff, I for sure would have made the team. But yeah, Bauer's been great. I love Bauer goalie, Bauer hockey. They've been really good to me these last few years. And, I've ordered a lot of setups from them. So they're really good about trying to get them to me as fast as they can, and get all my custom specs in. So I've had no issues with that. It's been a pretty smooth process. And, it's been cool to see their innovation in the goalie industry. I mean, when I first started wearing Bauer, there were only a handful of guys in the league, by league, I mean the NHL, not my beer league, who were wearing it. And so, now to see when they came out with this Odin line and all this stuff, it seems like they've really ramped up their goalie part of their brand. And to see all these guys in the show wearing it, it's been pretty cool. I don't know if my videos have anything to do with it, or if it's just, the quality and the product that they're putting out there, or maybe it's a combination of the two. But anyways, it's been cool to see nonetheless.
And anything you can tell us about the new line? Or, I mean, we're not really allowed to say much just yet.
Honestly, I don't know much about the ultrasonic line yet, outside of the pictures I saw. I sent Ben Bishop a few text messages about it, and he just said he really likes it, great feel and all that stuff. But even he was a little hush-hush. He didn't give me too much intel about it. So, I don't know a lot other than to me, it looks just, like an upgraded version of the Supreme, which, that's exactly what it is. But what those mods are and those upgrades are, I don't know yet. So I always defer to you guys, or you guys are a goalie gear nerd to figure out all that stuff. Because I thought I was the smartest guy when it came to goalie gear until I met you and Woodley Hutch up in Vancouver, and then I realized I wasn't. And so, I usually defer to you guys on that stuff. I wish I had a better answer for you.
Too kind. Well, speaking of Vancouver, Kaner, we first met when Bauer and the Hockey Shop brought you up to Vancouver for their annual TendyFest event. And public appearances by sponsored athletes isn't really all that uncommon, but it must have been a special experience for you up there.
Yeah, it was really neat. I mean, just getting to BC was cool because it's BC. It's beautiful. There's everything, mountains, beach, city, all that stuff. But going to TendyFest was special, and thanks to Bauer Goalie for inviting me. The Hockey Shop for letting me come out as well. It was just neat to meet a lot of kids who have been watching the videos, whether they've been watching for a month or since the beginning. It was really cool to meet. I think I met hundreds of goalies there. I mean, you remember there are goalies everywhere, and so I've never seen anything like it. The Hockey Shop really puts on a good show there, and they have all the vendors, Bauer, CCM, Bonds, all those guys there, and showing off all their new setups. And then it was really neat to be a part of. So
the big event is at Burnaby 8 rinks, and like you say, it was like walking into a shopping mall full of goaltenders.
Yeah.
But you must have had a chance to go actually visit the Hockey Shop, and Kevin calls it a little slice of goalie heaven. What was your experience?
Loved it. And so that's actually, I'm going to backtrack here. Us going to TendyFest for a couple of years is kind of what allowed us to shoot the Hockey Journey film, which we'll get into later. But just going up there and just seeing the event was cool. But going into the store at the Hockey Shop, the basement, I remember, and this is in the film too, but the setup they have a whole wall of pads. And I know you could say that about a lot of stores, but they have their wall is next level. It's hard to put in the words. You just have to see it for yourself, I guess. But I was blown away by the breadth of product they had, the color schemes they had, and just the nice pristineness of everything. Everything was nice and clean and organized. It's not like some hockey shops where you walk in and there's boxes on the floor and things like that. It was a legitimate retail experience, and those guys are doing a phenomenal job. So we're just stoked to be a part of that.
That's awesome. So Cam joins us almost every week on this for our gear segment.
Yeah.
I think he may be usurped this week by your appearance, but so the question is, you versus Cam in a shootout competition with your buddy Pavel Barber, who's going to win?
Cam's a goalie and I'm a goalie?
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. I've never seen Cam play, but I'm just 100% I want to go with myself. You got to be confident, right? I mean, if you're not confident, you're not going to win. So sorry, Cam. No offense, buddy.
Maybe we can set it up next year.
Yeah, I'm in.
The other competition Darren and I want to set up is you versus Woody in the pad stack. How's that going to go?
Oh, pad stack specifically.
Yeah. Okay, we could do the Olympic gymnastics routines. We could score them out of 10 or something.
Yeah. Okay. I've heard through the grapevine that Woodley's pad stacks are a work of art. So I don't want to chirp too much here, but I'll probably beat him. I think, I don't have any kids or anything like that, so I have more time to practice. So, if we do that, just give me a heads up so I can have at least a good 4 to 6 weeks to practice my stacks. But that'll be a good one, though. I like that idea.
We'd love to do that. And Woody's so old, he might not even get up after the first one.
As long as he goes 10 out of 10, though, that's a good average.
Okay, so you already alluded to it, and we'll say, you've gone from being a beer league beauty to almost the NHL, and you're a famous YouTube star. And I'm not at all being insincere, Kaner, when I say that many of my son's teammates list you as their favorite goaltender as a result of your work on YouTube.
I love it.
Now that you've embarked on a career as a documentary filmmaker, so can you tell us a little bit about the hockey journey? Yeah,
so like any goalie who's ever put the pads on, I dreamed of playing in the NHL, and I don't think that dream's ever going to die. But, as I get older, I'm starting to approach my mid-30s. And so, you got to be down to earth and realistic and think, hey, maybe it won't work out. So I'll keep pursuing that. But another dream I had was to be a filmmaker. I'm not an actor, obviously. Like this is my real life and my day-to-day and real name and all that. But, I just wanted to take things to the next level, and I just thought it was time. And so being up in Vancouver, the first time we went to TendyFest, we had all these cool interviews with, from Woodley to, the guys from Ultimate Hockey Fan Cave to, a couple NHL alums, and just all these, we're gathering all this cool content. And so when we came back to TendyFest the following year, we rented some legitimate camera gear because it's expensive. So we rented it and we brought it up, and we actually got serious about, grabbing as much content as we could so we could make this documentary film. And I'm glad we did. It's been, about 2.5, 3 years in the making. It's been an insane amount of work for my editor, but, I'm pretty confident with it. I'm really excited to share this with the world, and I hope people like it. And, I really hope that we can just continue to do this. Of course, I want to keep making YouTube videos, but I would love to have a hockey journey series if at all possible, and keep doing more of these. So that's the hope. But as long as people like it, at the end of the day, I think it was worth all the time spent on it.
Well, I wouldn't be surprised if you got the call from Netflix or Apple soon.
That's the goal. That's the goal, Hutch.
So like any good talk show, of course, you've brought a clip along from your new movie. Do you want to set it up for us?
Yeah. Check this out. So this is just this is a piece from the trailer here, which if you want to see the full-length trailer, you can go to my YouTube channel or see any of my videos for that matter, youtube.com/Kane van Gate 38. It's the same handle for all my social channels. So I would start with BHL 36 if you've never seen my videos. And then from there, you can watch any video. But the Hockey Journey movie trailer should be towards the top. So definitely give that a peek. But here, check this out.
All right, here we go. KVG's Hockey Journey.
As you know, all roads lead to beer league. Whether you peaked in Pee-wees or made it to the show, if you want to keep playing hockey, you play in the BHL. Whether it's a men's league, a rec league, an A league, a beginner league, it's all the same. It's beer league. And did I think I'd always wind up there? No, I always kind of figured I'd play in the NHL.
Okay. I'm still a little confused. I just don't get what makes this movie worthy. Like, what's the story?
All right, that was great, Kaner. Thank you for sharing that with us. I know we're all looking forward to our exclusive InGoal screening. There will be one, won't there?
Yes, absolutely. It's just a matter of when,
right?
And hopefully, I can afford a plane ticket to join you guys, and it's not just something I send your way.
Well, maybe when you come up to Vancouver, we can have an exclusive screening for all the Vancouver-based InGoal Premium members.
Yeah. I actually like that idea. I like that idea. And speaking of premium, not to get sidetracked here, but I'm freaking loving it. It's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
I think all these, I've been telling some of the goalies I coach about it because they ask me these specific questions, and I like to defer to other people sometimes. And I was just like, dude, you got to subscribe to this. It's awesome. So I'm glad you guys got that out there, and I'm sure goalies are loving it.
That's awesome. Thank you. I know you do coach youngsters, you coach guys right up to the pros, and it's great that you're willing to share your knowledge and experience. I've especially enjoyed the way you interact with the young kids on the ice, and just to let people know there is an Ask the InGoal Goalie Dad, who is not me, column on Premium. So if any of those kids have any questions, or their parents no doubt are looking to you for career advice, just tell them to send them our way and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, we'll do.
Okay, so how and when can people see Hockey Journey?
So thank you for asking that, Hutch. So we are hosting our premiere. For those of you who don't know, premiere means the first viewing of the film. So we're hosting that in St. Louis on Monday, January 27th, which is after the All-Star Weekend, which is also here in St. Louis, Missouri. So we're going to do that Monday evening. And then after that, I think they say a 4 to 8, so a month or 2 month process. So right now we've submitted it to a third party, which submits it to Hulu and Netflix and all the things. And so here, let me read this excerpt from my editor, because he didn't want me to answer this question.
That'd be great.
He said, don't be cocky about things being on Netflix or Hulu. Just tell people it'll most likely be available for digital download on iTunes or Amazon within the next month or two. Tell them you'll make announcements when that happens. Seriously, please don't be cocky. Okay, so yeah, that was written by my editor. So it's kind of up in the air, but according to him, it's probably going to be available on iTunes for download here in the next month or two.
Oh, that's awesome.
And when that happens, I'll make sure to blast it all over my social channels so everybody knows.
That's awesome. So as you mentioned, Woody's in the film. My son Maddie is in the film with you briefly, a little cameo. I gotta say, very courageous of you to step on the ice with Maddie and put your reputation on the line.
Yeah. Luckily he was younger, because it's from a couple years ago. So even though he was a stud then, he's not quite the stud he's turned into these last 2 years. So he didn't make me look too bad. So I kept the days off. Like, there were some other high level goalies out there, and I just, I didn't want to show them. I wanted to make sure I looked good.
Yeah, it's got to be a fine line you have to walk. So anyway, Maddie and Woody are just wondering if you have the address to send the residuals checks to.
Yeah. So I'll pass that on to my editor. That's something I let him take care of that stuff. So we'll figure that out later.
Or your agent, I guess.
Yeah, I'm still working on one of those.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I have an agent, a manager, and a PR person. And
do you want to give me a little shout out?
A team of people. Yeah. So I'd like to thank all of them for all their support, because, they exist and they've been a big help.
That's awesome. Okay, KVG, I want to thank you for joining us on the podcast today. We recently had Joel Hofer on as our first junior guest, and all that took was a world championship for him to get invited on. We knew one day we'd have a beer league guest, and all it took was now I hear 5-time back to whatever champion as
8
well.
Total, to be clear.
8 total, sorry.
8 total, but 5 consecutive.
So there was an injury year in there somewhere.
Yeah, actually, in the BHL Life, I hurt my back and I missed the session. The boys couldn't pull it off without me, So maybe, like I said, it may be 7 or 8 shots a game, but it's easier said than done.
Well, one championship for every shot you get in a game. That's pretty darn good. Thank you for joining us. We hope you'll return when you're in the show. Perhaps we can have a pro read segment on InGoal Premium with KVG.
Yeah. If that happens, I'll still find the time for you guys for sure. And thanks for having me on, Hutch. And Woodley, all the guys, and I wish you guys all the best.
Thanks, Kaner. Have a great one, buddy.
Yeah, you too.
He's a beauty, and I can't wait to meet him because he'll probably punch me in the head because of my previous introductions. But KVG 38, he is cool. I love people who believe in themselves, believe in what they're doing, and make something out of it without being taking themselves too seriously. It sounds like he takes himself seriously, but that's that's part of the shtick. And he's really cool, and I followed him forever, so it's neat to hear him. Hutch, it sounds like you had to ask him 3 or 4 times to come on, though.
Oh, it was a real challenge.
Mostly it was hard to fit it into his schedule, to be honest with you.
Right.
He was a great sport to do that. And I love that he's created something so original. I mean,
exactly.
Everybody wants to be a YouTube star, and so you see a whole lot of the same thing out there. But he's created a very, very unique personality, and he does it so well. So, yeah, really, really enjoyable. But as I said, there is a bit of a serious side to that. He is a legit ambassador for Bauer and for the hockey shop, and we're glad that he was able to join us in that capacity.
Yeah, and we're not at all bitter at all that we didn't get a personal flight and accommodations for the movie premiere in St. Louis coming up.
I'm a little bitter. I'm a little sour.
Maybe we can get Darren up to Vancouver for when we have the InGoal premiere up here.
You know what I was thinking? There's no better place for a premiere than Vegas. Let's do it down on the Strip.
You know what? He was legit excited about that idea. I did mention that to him offline. I offered him your couch. I'm sure you're good with that.
Yeah.
And no, maybe Darren's living room will be the premiere for about 6 of us.
Premiere. That's a very intimate. We'll be able to sell it online to our followers as an intimate premiere with his documentary. So I can't wait to see it. It's cool. And again, he doesn't take himself too seriously, but he is legit. He's a goaltender and played at a very high level, and he continues to play the position today. Woody,
yes,
what do you have left for us at the very end? Just some words of inspiration for me as I go into this week, because I have 2 ice times coming up. Can you give me something to concentrate on, to focus on? Because I haven't skated in about 3 weeks.
I'd love to come up with something really intelligent, but I'm coming off a 3-week absence myself, Darren, and let's just say that my return was not glorious, nor was it successful last night. So I'm not sure that, like, this might be a blind leading the blind segment if I tell you how to come back. I don't know.
Woody would recommend one of his motorized foam rollers, no doubt. Probably several hours worth of foam rolling before hitting the ice.
These are with new guys. I wouldn't pull that foam roller out in front of people I don't really know. I wouldn't pull out a foam roller in front of people I do know. Who would do that? Oh, sorry, Woody.
Interestingly enough, guys, we've been doing a big charity fundraiser for my beer league team.
I saw that.
A little pat on the back before we exit. The raffle itself is up over $18,000 raised for the Canucks Autism Network, and as a team, we'll probably hit $40,000. But interestingly, like, we did the online stuff and that was great, but the real grassroots, like where we made our money, was we just went into locker rooms, like banged on doors, walked in and said, guys, we're a beer league team. This is what we're doing. 180 locker rooms over the past week we have walked into. And I am quite sad to report I did not see a single person on the floor in the middle foam rolling. So I now realize that I really am the exception rather than the rule. And I'm a little redder now when you guys chirp me. The embarrassment is real. I mentioned it a few times. I'm like, I'm worried about coming in before the game starts, guys, because I know your goalie's over there trying to prepare himself mentally for the game. Guys over there like, huh? What? Like, okay, yeah. I may be the only one that takes it that seriously before a game. But you know what?
His foam roller's a 2 King can sitting beside him.
Yeah, exactly.
Woody is not that different from KVG,
I
let's
was
be honest.
just going to say It's a perfect tie-in, guys, because where I got my serious warm-up from was the man himself, KVG. I'm not quite running laps. I'm not doing sprints up and down, at least when no one's looking. But maybe a little too serious with the extra stick for warm-ups and the foam roller in the locker room. So
we might be able to get an extra donation for the Canucks Autism Fund if Kevin were willing to do a foam roller demonstration at InGoal.
Yes.
Maybe a little YouTube video with some guidance from KVG. Maybe they could even team up on it.
Yeah, because that's what our audience wants to see. Me writhing on the floor over a rotating cylinder. I don't think so. Or a vibrating rotating cylinder.
Well, if you pull something, we'd love to.
I would love to see you writhing on the floor. And I think there's a lot of other people would too. I don't care how it comes about.
Hey, listen, if we have a pad stack competition, you're going to see me writhing on the floor.
Okay, and before we go, the idea that you have a stick for warm up and then you have the stick for games is ridiculous.
It's not really a warm up stick.
Hold on. If you had a stick for games and then a really big hook for the empty net, I would buy into that.
Okay,
I would go for that. The empty net goal stick, I would go for that. But your warm up stick at your age is ridiculous.
It's just an old stick.
He's got a practice roller and a game roller too, Darren.
Yeah. KVG 38. What are you holding up?
I got a new roller.
Oh.
I got a new toy. It's a little mini ball roller. Gets in that.
Of course you do. Of course you do.
Does that thing have a battery in it? A motor?
Honestly, how many rollers and rolling like devices do you have in that office?
It's a lithium ion battery, Darren. So it makes it a little tough. You got to carry it on in your luggage when you go for a flight. It's a smaller one. It's actually small enough on the vibrating roller. You can actually get into the TFL band in front of the hip, which is a nightmare for goalies. Hyperice is the company. I wish they'd actually sent it to me for free. They should for this plug. Their stuff rocks.
Yes,
and
they
yes,
should.
I do have 4 or 5 of their products.
You are a dork, but I love you. a big, beautiful, wonderful dork. But
Flexible dork. I'm a flexible dork.
Yes. You're pain free, but you're a dork. For David Hutchison, Kevin Woodley, the foam roller extraordinaire himself. Our thanks to Robin Lehner and KVJ38 on this episode 52 of InGoal Radio, the podcast. Our thanks to you. Our thanks for your loyalty, for your patronage, and your support over the course of the year, along with Source for Sports Surrey, The Hockey Shop, thehockeyshop.com. Here's to another 52 as we roll into Season 2, Episode 1, otherwise known as number 53 of InGoal Radio, the podcast.